to him about what motivates him. What kind of goals does he set?
I set a goal every day just to get up and work out, you know, and to train hard. I've got to stay motivated every day. For me to continue wrestling, it's daily goals. It's not something to set a goal to be a world champion in 1991. It's a goal to concentrate on my skills, concentrate on my conditioning, because you have a tendency now, I'm feeling, and no one can explain this to me because no one's been where I've been. It's tough to get motivated now, to get up every day like you've been doing in the past, to train as hard as you've always trained, to win a world champion, because you've already won one. That don't mean I don't love the sport and I want to retire. I want to wrestle. I don't want to train as hard, but I know I have to. So my goals are to stay motivated, and I keep finding ways to keep myself motivated.
John Smith for the United States, one of the greatest wrestlers we've ever had in this country, maybe in the world, and he will be going against Miazbek Antuev of the Soviet Union. Another young wrestler, Jimmy, for the Soviets.
Well, again, they're trying to find someone to beat John. John's been the champion of the world the last 4 years, and this young man has beaten Sarkisian, who's had some real tough matches with John in the past. In fact, is the only Soviet to beat John as far as I can remember when he beat him in the World Cup here 2 years ago.
Well, we have some action early, but no call being made here.
John starts off with an arm throw, and the officials are just standing around looking at themselves.
Well, they're going to give him one for the takedown, and he will get confirmation.
I actually thought they missed something myself there.
They might have missed a two-pointer by John Smith.
I think so, too.
Antuev has the leg control. He's coming around here for a reversal. We should see a one-point reversal.
John felt he was getting in trouble there, so he decided to give it to him. But I think Antuev maybe hung around too long. John's back in.
One of the few tournaments that John Smith has not won, the World Cup of Wrestling. He's been a world champion, Olympic champion, two-time Pan Am champion, but he has never won the World Cup.
As I said, he lost to Sarkisian in a real close match and a couple of close calls a couple of years ago. This young man pinned Sarkisian in the Soviet championships. So I think that's why we're seeing here today.
136.5 pounds. John Smith, Sullivan Award winner. Has to be a great thing for wrestling to have an athlete like John Smith be called the Sportsman of the Year by the United States Olympic Committee and the Athlete of the Year, winning the Sullivan Award.
Well, I think it is. It's a big step forward for wrestling, for our sport. We've had some great champions, world Olympic champions, Leroy Kemp, a three-time world champion, and Dan Gable, and the Desics, and it's finally time that we've got some recognition. And John, being the first four-timer, I think it's a real tribute to him, and finally to see how far wrestling's come. John's in on the double leg, driving, and just comes up with one again.
Well, John Smith will take a 2-1 lead. Just under 3 minutes to go in this 5-minute match. 1 5-minute period. 3 officials on every match. 2 of the 3 must agree for points to go on the scoreboard. Stefan Kasarian of the Soviet Union, the referee in this match, stops the action, brings them back up to their feet. John right now questioning the score on the board. I think he feels he should have had a 2-pointer somewhere in there, Jim.
Well, I think you might be right, Russ. That's one thing that John really has to avoid, though. He worries about what the officials are doing too much, and they don't really like it. They like the way he wrestles, and they like him being aggressive, which he is. He's got to move his feet. I talked to him yesterday, and he said he was a little sluggish. He hadn't competed for 5 months, and it was just hadn't been in competition. He'd been training pretty hard.
Oh, a nice high crotch and a beautiful step over there by John Smith. Again, it's questionable. 1 point is what they're giving. 1 point for the takedown. John extends his lead to 3-1 now with just over 2 minutes to go in this match at 136.5 pounds.
And the crowd's calling for a two-point move there but you've got to hit on an elbow to score the 2. You've got to really break the 90-degree angle and hit your shoulder.
John Smith, Leroy Smith, his brother, national coach for the USA team. This is a team competition as well as individual competition. Individuals wrestling for gold, silver, and bronze medals with the 6 teams that are competing here. Also, this is for the team championship between the Soviet Union and the United States. Another takedown by John Smith.
It's patented shuck there that John's taking a lot of guys down with. It's a nasty little hold. Both teams are 4-0 in this dual meet competition so far, so the winner of this dual meet is going to be the World Cup champion for 1991. John's in with the cross ankle. Matunov kicks out of it, and John's back in the single leg.
The Soviet only 21 years old. John Smith, despite his success, only 25. A precarious situation there, and we will have a two-pointer. Nice step over by John Smith to put Antuev on his back at the edge of the mat. Antuev counters off.
It's amazing. You see the flexibility in Matunov's shoulders. He's a lot like John Smith. He's kind of long and lanky, and maybe that's why they brought this guy, thinking that this is the kind of style that you need to defeat John. And it's obviously not working. John's too experienced and too much mat savvy out there. John's doing a great job keeping the Soviet on the defensive the whole match.
Well, John broke into the international ranks with the Goodwill Games gold medal in '86, won the Worlds in '87, '89, and '90, and in between won the gold medal in 1988 in Seoul, Korea.
First American to ever win 4 world championships. Is, you know, everyone's saying maybe he's the best wrestler we have, and I don't see how anyone can argue with it.
John Smith now leading 7-1. 30 seconds to go in this match. I think the Soviet all but conceding here that John Smith is a better wrestler. Back in on that low single leg.
That's the Smith single leg. It's noted around the world now. People are trying to figure out how to stop it, how to emulate it, how to duplicate it.
And they're not doing a very good job.
No, they're not. The Soviets haven't figured it out yet, that's for sure, and that's good. I like that.
Well, John content to hang down here and not lose any points. 5 seconds to go in the match. Oh, John takes a nice tilt there as time runs out. The referee saying there are no points. Well, I guess they're saying that time. No, they did give 2. The mat chairman and the mat judge did give the 2 points. John Smith will win the match at 136.5 pounds by a score of 9-1. That's 3 victories now for the United States in this World Cup competition.
John's first World Cup title to go along with his 4 world championships.
Well, one wonders how many different championships John Smith will win. 25 years of age and the most dominant wrestler we have ever had in the United States. John Smith always in control. The second point that John scored in this competition.
Again, in on the low single and switching to the double, driving him. John's in on the low single, and he comes up hard. He does that. He's got some incredible flexibility. A lot of wrestlers can't do this type of technique, and he steps over the head, puts Matunov on his back.
Well, I would say this was the breaking point in the match. It was a 2-pointer to put John Smith out in the lead 6-1. John Smith wins 9-1 at 136.5 pounds.
John, congratulations on your first World Cup championship. I know they keep sending different Soviets out for you. They're trying to find your style. So how are you going to prepare for these new guys all the time?
Jim, you know as well as I do that I've got a good style, so you don't prepare for anyone. You just keep preparing your style and come to wrestle the best you can, your own style. If you start worrying about other people's style wrestling, then you might go a little defense, and you might be a little hesitant to go out and attack. You know, I'm an attack wrestler, and I don't want to worry about anyone's style. Just concentrate on mine, because I feel like mine's the best right now. You don't want to change anything that's not broken, so I'm just going to focus on my style and try to just improve it. You know, right now I don't feel like this tournament, the best of me was out. You know, I wasn't moving my feet real well, and I had some matches that, you know, if something goes wrong in those matches, it's a real tight match. So it gives me some encouragement. I got some things to work on.
We've got some footage here, the last technique where you put him on his back. You want to talk us through this?
In this particular position, as you know, this kid right here, he's a low-level wrestler, and he attacked me real well once I got to the leg. He felt real dangerous. So I just lifted the heel up. I knew that I'd take his back to the mat there, and from this position here, I just shift the hip and set that hip down. And right in this position, I felt like I was going to pin him, and his shoulders were on the mat, and that referee blew us off the mat. I think, you know, might have wanted to see a little more of a match, but it was a tight match. It was good. He'll be a better wrestler next time I face him.
Well, thanks a lot, John. Again, congratulations on the World Cup. Great job.
Feels good. Thank you.
John Smith, again, proving why he's one of the best amateur athletes in the country.